Can everyone hear me okay? Am I too loud? Okay, thank you. Hi. My name is Melissa Gargiulo. I am a nurse with Intrepid Hospice. One of the things I love to talk about is dementia because I think it is just so prevalent in every part of our lives. I'm sure all of us can probably say we know someone in a family or facility that has dementia. I will warn you, I talk really fast. I get really excited because it's really cool the stuff we're going to be talking about. It's like I want to shove all that information into your brain. So if I talk too fast, please raise your hand and let me know, and I will try to slow down. Also, please smile at me because it's really scary up here. Okay, so I thought, for me, I have attention deficit syndrome. I am ADD, I love colors, I love bright things. And so for me, it's easier to understand why something is happening if I can understand the reason behind it. So there are three main ways that someone might get dementia. There's a whole bunch, but we're just going to talk three today. The first one is an acute issue like an injury. A car accident, being hit on the back of the head with a baseball bat, falling out of a tree, something like that. Those injuries tend to hit one part of the brain, but as the person grows older and it progresses, it spreads to the rest of the brain. The next type is something actually inside the brain, like a hemorrhage or a stroke, something vascular. The third type, I'm going to kind of lump it all together, and we're just going to call it Alzheimer's. Obviously, there's a lot of ways. Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, all of those can cause this type of dementia, but it's just a general shrinking of the brain, and those little neurons that send messages, it breaks them and causes them to die. So those are the three, in a very, kind of lumping them all together, the three reasons why someone might get dementia. So, I made a brain out of Play-Doh. This is me, this is how I roll. Okay, these are the 6 main areas of the brain. There's a whole lot more, but these are the ones we're going to talk about. This one in the front, that's your frontal lobe. It's you. Do you like broccoli? Do you like the color blue? Do you remember memories from your grandmother? This is your personality. It's also what I call your filter. This is when you think something, but you don't say it because you know there's a consequence. Like, if you and I were walking down the street, and she's going, oh yeah, I got that one. You don't have a frontal lobe. She has no frontal lobe. If we're walking down the street and thank you for engaging with me. It's so much nicer when people talk to me. Okay. So, if you have a frontal lobe injury and you saw someone walking down the street in a really tight skirt, you and I would think, oh honey, you should not be wearing that skirt. But the person with an injury, they don't think that way. They'll go up and tell her, hey, you really should not be wearing that skirt. That's how blunt they are, and it's not their fault. They have literally lost their ability to reason. This next one, this is your eyes. It's not your vision like 20/20, but it's your ability to look at something and understand what it is, and then send those little neurotransmitters to your memory so you can figure out what you're seeing. This one, this is words, your speech. Again, it's not just the ability to understand what someone's saying, but also the ability to hear it, think about how you're going to respond, and to be able to say the words effectively. This one, this little green thing, this is so cool. I placed my brain near you. So that's a strange sentence, isn't it? The cerebellum is in the back of your head, right back here. It's literally 2 masses, and they're your balance. They work as your balance. So when you're walking, it is always doing this so that your body knows where midline is. Someone who has an injury in that part of their brain, they might lean, they might literally not be able to walk a straight line. And we see this a lot in people who have dementia. What happens to them? Fall risk. Whew, big fall risk. Yep. Thank you. This last one right here, this is your brain stem. This is respirations, heart rate, blood pressure. It's also your temperature control. How many times have we seen the little bitty lady, and it's like 120 outside, and she's got on a ski cap and a fur coat, and she's freezing? You've all seen that? Okay, she has had something going on in her brainstem. So I thought we could take one part, talk about the problems, and then how we work with it. If someone has a problem in their frontal lobe, which is the filter, they're liable to say things they never would have said in real life. Usually they tend to be the pastor's wife. They have the foulest mouth you will ever hear. And it just rolls out in beautiness, all these really bad words. And the family is horrified. And they say, this isn't my mother. We don't know why she's doing this. It is our job as people who take care of this person to reassure them. We don't take it personally. We know this isn't her. And you're right, it isn't her. Her brain has literally changed. It is our job to reassure them that it's okay to distance yourself from what she's saying and just remember the person that she is. Because she's still there, she's just trapped somewhere in her body. And that's why she cannot say the words that she normally would say. The stuff that she would not normally say is the stuff that's just going to roll out. This one, with your eyes. From a dietary point of view, I want everyone to do this. Okay, what can you see when you're looking out through that pair of goggles? You can put them down. Thank you for participating. Right in front of you. That's all you can see. Someone, yes, tunnel vision. Oh, teenagers have that, don't they? Come to think of it, I never put that together. I want money and I want food and I want it right now. With this type of goggle vision, this is an example of someone who has dementia, what they can truly see. We know that they lose their peripheral vision, but they also lose their vision top and bottom. So when you approach someone who has dementia, if you're not right in front of them, they literally cannot see you. So, oh ma'am, I'm sorry, you're in the zone. May I use you as an example? Thank you. So, from a dietary point of view, when we have a plate of food, and we are so proud of this food, and we are going to present it to this person with dementia to help them have their nutrition, and we put it down here, and we walk away. They've got goggles. Do you think they see that plate? They don't see it. They might smell it. They don't even see it. It's not even in their vision line. So then they sit there, and everyone around them is, we need to get her some candy. We see them not responding to the plate of food. And we're thinking, why? Why aren't they eating? Are they stubborn? Do they want attention? It's not that. They literally cannot see it. Also, if you've got someone, oh ma'am, sweet person who talked to me earlier, can you please be an example? May I ask your name? Hello, Cookie, I'm Melissa. There you go. So, Cookie has dementia. She is, what was that? You don't remember that. Cookie has dementia. Cookie is in a wheelchair. It is time for dinner, and we are all racing to the dining room table, and you know how that is when you've got 50 residents and they all want to get there at the same time. I'm an aide, I'm taking him to the dining room, and I'm stressed because there's all these people that have to get there. So I go up to her and I go, hey, Cookie, let's go to the dining room. What happened? You get scared. That's That's right. She got scared because she could hear me, but she couldn't see me because I was actually not in her vision. Also, I was talking really fast because I had a mission. So we need to do this. May I change your chair? Can you stand up for a second, Cookie? Okay, sit down facing that way. This is how you need to approach someone with dementia, because remember, they can't see you. You approach them from the front. Hello, Cookie. Let's go eat. Oh, I wish they were all that sweet. You have to approach them from straight ahead, because they are literally not going to see you. And if you come up and you touch them on the shoulder, what are they going to do if they can't see you? Say that again.
They're going to think someone's trying to abuse them.
They're going to think they're going to flinch because they think that someone is going to try and hurt them. With someone with dementia, they don't know that we are a person. All they know is that we are something big and scary and we might hurt them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, wait, one more time, one more thing. Comfort and safety hold. Well, I've got a willing participant here. Can you grab someone next to you and get them in a handhold?
No.
If you can't, just pretend. This handhold is how we normally take care of people. The problem is, if someone has dementia really bad, what are they going to do? They're going to squeeze, and they're not going to be able to let go. Okay. We've all done that, haven't we? So what you do, from this position, rotate your hands up so that your thumbs are locked and your hands are like this. Can everyone see that? Thank you, Cookie, very much. Thank you, Cookie. From that position, that is called the comfort and safety hold. From this position, they are squeezing your hand, but they're squeezing your palm. Not those bony fingers that hurt so bad. It is soft, it is cushioning. They can squeeze that forever and it's not really going to hurt you. And from that position, all you have to do is collapse your hand and pull out your hand. That keeps you from getting hurt and it keeps other people from having to pry their fingers off. The comfort and safety hold. Words. Oh, this is so frustrating for people. When you tell someone something, there is a 3-part process for them to be able to respond. You say the word, they recognize the word, goes into the brain, they figure out what they're going to say, and then they spit out the words to communicate their thoughts. We all can do that. With someone who has dementia or has an accident in the word part of the brain, they can probably understand what you're saying. They can even maybe understand in your brain and figure out a sentence. But when they say something, it doesn't come out right. So I'm going to stick on you now. If I go up to you and go, "Are you hungry?" And they think about it, and what comes out of the mouth is, "I see a duck." And I go, "What? Are you hungry?" "I see a duck." In their mind, they are saying, "Yes, I am hungry." When they see our confusion, "What are you saying?" Or then I say, "What duck?" What are they thinking? They're thinking I'm trying to make them mad. They're thinking that I am deliberately not understanding what they're saying because it is completely clear. I see a duck. So when this happens, and you'll begin to identify when this happens, you have to get down in that vision of the person and say, "I am really sorry. The words coming out of your mouth, I don't understand, but I'm going to help you." And then you get them into that comfort and safety hold if you can, because you want to make a warm, gentle connection with them. And you start asking yes and no questions that they can nod their head. Because they can still nod their head. They know what's going on. They just can't formulate the words. "May I borrow you?" "Are you hungry?" And then you just suggest it so they know what's going on. And then you communicate them with them that way. Yes, good job. The next one, your cerebellum. Your cerebellum is your balance. When someone has dementia, or if they have an injury in the cerebellum, and unfortunately, baseball players get this. They get hit in the back of the head with a baseball. If either one of those gets smaller or larger than the other, it literally throws off your balance. So you have someone who's walking normally, and we've seen this, they start veering or they start leaning. It is literally their brain that has changed. So we start them off with a cane, we then go to a walker, they may end up in the wheelchair, and sometimes they can benefit from gait training, which is basically reteaching the brain how to walk straight, even though the cerebellum is changed. The last one is your brainstem. Love the brainstem. It is your swallowing reflex. Inside your mouth, in the back of your throat, are basically 2 holes. One stays open all the time because it goes down into your lungs. We're breathing all the time. If we're not, I'm worried about you. I know I'm not breathing very much because I'm really scared. The other one is a hole that goes down into your stomach. The idea of swallowing is that when you swallow, everything goes down into your stomach and it doesn't go down into your lungs. The problem is, as someone declines and they get weaker, there are actually 20 muscles in the back of your throat. And all those 20 muscles have to work perfectly to get the food from your mouth down into your stomach without going into your lungs. Stands to reason, as they get weaker, those muscles aren't going to be as efficient. So, I want everyone to open your mouth that much. Now, take your tongue, stick it at the very bottom of your mouth, all the way back in your throat, and swallow. Okay. You can't swallow. To be able to swallow, your tongue has to hit the top of your mouth and make a seal. Then there's this cascade of muscles that ripple it down past the tube that goes into your lungs and into your stomach. If any of those muscles aren't working properly or quick enough, what's going to happen? They're going to aspirate. Right, part of the food or water is going to go down into the lungs. So, the tongue hits the top of the mouth. This flap in the back of your throat goes up and closes the hole that goes into your nose. Then another flap comes down and covers the hole that goes down into your lungs at the same time as your vocal cords are squeezing that tube shut. Then the muscles start working it down your throat and into that little sphincter that goes into your stomach. It pushes it through, it snaps shut, and then the other one opens, and that's how you breathe. Isn't that cool? That's why you're not supposed to eat and talk at the same time. You're not supposed to eat and drive at the same time either, but I've got that down pat. So you've got this process that's going down to throat. As someone gets weaker, what starts happening to them with their diet? We start changing it. Thank you. Who said that? I heard a mumble. We start changing it. We go from regular food, regular water, to mechanical soft, eggs, oatmeal, stuff like that. Then it goes down to puree, and then eventually it gets to where just giving them a little bit of applesauce or yogurt with their food. The reason being is, it is so much easier for the body to swallow a glob of food than something that's crumbly or has lots of little bits. So if you take a sip of water and that flap doesn't close off the windpipe to your lungs, little bits of water can actually get in that seal and get in down into your lungs. Problem with dementia patients is the number one reason why a dementia patient will pass away is pneumonia, aspiration pneumonia, which is why we change the diets. If you have like cornbread, those little crumbly bits, man, they're just a real risk of going down into your lungs if you have swallowing difficulty, which is why we change the diet. It's also why at the end of life, when they say, my mom she's not eating anymore, she's not drinking anymore. What do you do when you love someone? You feed them. That's what we do. We feed, we love, we nurture. That's how we take care of people we care about. One of the hardest things for a family member to understand is, why aren't you feeding my mom? She's going to starve to death. She hasn't drank in 24 hours. She's going to die. Unfortunately, yes, this person that they love is going to pass away, but it's not because they're not eating or drinking. Not eating or drinking for the body at that point in their life is actually a blessing. Did you know that when you were born, you already know, your body already knows how it wants to die? We are designed as humans, this amazing thing that we are. When our body senses it no longer needs energy and it's beginning to slow down, chemically it changes us in our brain and it takes away our drive to eat or drink. The reason being is, if you are in that really debilitated state, digesting food takes a tremendous amount of energy. When you give a baby a bottle of warm milk, what do? They go to sleep. Our residents, after they've had a meal, what do they want to do? They want to go take a nap. What do you guys want to do right now because you've been listening for 2 hours? Take a nap. Eat, take a nap. So whenever they don't want to eat or don't want to drink, it's because the body knows if food gets in their stomach, the body literally does not have enough energy to digest it, so it stays in their stomach. And what happens when food is in a warm, moist environment? It ferments, and it causes gas. So that is why the body is protecting itself by not wanting to eat. The same with not drinking, the loss of ability to swallow. Now, in all of us, if we are dehydrated, that's not a good thing. But someone who's coming to the end of their life, dementia or other reasons, being dehydrated is a good thing. Because when you are dehydrated, your body actually changes in the brain, this miraculous thing that we have. And it releases chemicals that take away pain and anxiety. I mean, that's great. Our body is designed to do that. And whenever we have malnutrition, it releases calcium out of our bones into our veins. And what is calcium as compared to a bottle of milk in a baby? What does it do? It makes the baby want to go to sleep. Our body is designed, when it knows that it no longer has the energy to survive, it starts changing things chemically in the body to keep us from eating or drinking because it wants to get into that natural state. We are designed to slow down. We become sleepy where we can be awakened, we can say hello to people, we go back to sleep, we get into the sleep that we cannot be awoken from, and then we pass away. That's how we are designed. As caregivers, we need to recognize when someone has reached that state. If you can always offer, do you want something to eat or drink? Absolutely, but don't insist because their body is actually talking to them. When they get to this nice, easy rest, they're not eating or drinking. Hopefully hospice is there because hospice is really good about making sure that there's no pain or anxiety. Then we get them to that nice, easy rest, and then they go to sleep. Sundowners, who's heard that? Has anyone have an experience with someone who has sundowners? Oh, boy, it's hard, isn't it? Why do you think sundowners happens? It is. Oh, snap! Was that you again? I'm so glad you're in the front. Yes. 3 main reasons why sundowners happens. Chemically, they are changing, absolutely, and they are losing their filter. Also, if you think about someone who is confused, constantly during the day, they are trying to figure out where they are. They're looking at people, and they can stare at you so intently because the brain is always trying to orientate themselves. When we wake up in the morning, what's the first thing we do when we open our eyes? You look at your clock, you look at your phone, something. And you say, oh, that's my clock, I'm in my bed. We don't think about this, but this is what we do all the time. People with dementia the entire day are they're always searching and trying to work and trying to find out where they are. Towards the end of the day, they are literally tired. They're exhausted from trying to keep it together. Being tired with dementia makes you more cranky. Also, they can no longer orientate themselves like they did. If we look at this, can I borrow your water bottle? Water bottle. We all know this is a water bottle. Someone with dementia during the day might recognize it. But if you put the water bottle here and the sunlight coming in the window changes, it's going to have shadows. The shape of the water bottle is no longer as defined as it was. The refrigerator, maybe the bathroom door, all those things that they've been orientating themselves to all day changes. And they do not have the perception to be able to say, that's a refrigerator and that's a shower or a shadow. It's just more confusing. Also, caregivers. I've saved this one for last. This is your temporal lobe. This is your emotions. Your emotions and your ability to control your emotions. Someone who's had a temporal lobe injury cannot control their emotions. Unfortunately, people that are T-boned in a car accident, they can come away with temporal lobe injuries. If you've got someone who has dementia and their emotions are all over the place, sometimes they're sweet and perfect, and then other times they're just not sweet and perfect. It's not their fault. It is a problem with their brain, and this is another thing that we need to share with our families. We are in the unique position to be able to recognize these signs because we're with them all the time. And we need to go tell them and say, I know she's yelling at you. She doesn't mean it, but I know that doesn't make it easier for you. I'm really sorry that you are feeling this. We need to support them. Dementia is a family disease. Dementia, the person who has it at the later stages, they don't realize they have it. It's the family around them that knows it. Finding joy. If someone has dementia, they don't look like they look like themselves. They may look exactly the same, but inside, they have no control of their emotions. They don't know where we are. We are big, scary creatures that they don't know if they're going to hurt us or not. Someone comes and takes them into the bathroom and takes off their underwear. None of us would like that. What we need to do is to be able to find the joy within this person. They say really funny things. I went up to this man and I said, hi. I said, may I hold your hand? And in all seriousness, he said, yes, you may hold my hand, but you cannot hold my eye. Thank you. When funny things like that happen, share them. Make sure and tell the family. Let the family know that you enjoy them, even if they are a little bit cranky and cantankerous. Let them know that you see the joy and the value in this person, even though they're in a wheelchair and they may not know where they are. They are still there. And that's something we see. If someone looks at you and looks at you and looks at you and they may never ever talk to you, but they're still there. Some part of their brain is still working and they are still hearing all of these conversations around them. Show them love. Have patience with them and have caregiver support. If you know someone who's trying to take care of someone with dementia by themselves, oh, please find them support. The caregiver needs a break. They cannot do it 24 hours a day. They want to, they think they should be able to, but you can't because it takes so much control for the caregiver not to snap. Because someone with dementia, the way they're feeling and thinking is a direct reflection of us. We are their mirror. If we come up and we're rushed and harried and come on, let's go, that's how they're going to react. Because remember, they have no control of their emotions. Okay, I have talked nonstop. I've thrown a lot at you. Do you have any questions? Please talk to me. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking a question.
Sorry everybody for this. I was many years ago.
everyone here okay?
I was going to counseling many years ago, and I was going through parts of my life where I would kind of talk to myself. And I told my counselor this, and I said, you always hear somebody, you talk to yourself and say you're crazy or whatever. And actually the counselor told me, no, that when you are stressed and have problems, you should talk to yourself because your thinking in your brain and your hearing in your brain is two parts of the brain, and you get two different concepts of what you're thinking. You think of it in a different way, and if you're talking it out, you're hearing it, so it gives you a couple options of how to think of your situation and how to handle it or proceed or whatever. And she said, talk to yourself all you want. If you got to answer it, answer it, work the problems out by answering it, do so because your brain is working in two different areas.
Absolutely right. Like when you're trying to learn something, if you read it out loud, you learn better. I have learned, though, not to talk to myself at stoplights. I have scared many people. I look over and they're going, oh, Todd's giving me a clue, 15 more minutes. Has anyone met Todd?
Hi, Todd.
Hi, Todd.
Hi, everybody.
Todd's usually going, come on, we're gonna. Please ask more questions. Oh, please don't leave me up here by myself. Yes, ma'am.
Nowadays, you're not crazy talking to yourself because everybody's got their phone and their car on. So you go ahead and talk to yourself at stop sign. It's okay.
I've actually pretended there was a baby in the back. Like, oh, hi, honey, are you okay? And then I realized he was in a pickup and he was higher than me, so he absolutely knew there was not a baby in the back. Please ask me a question. Please. Yes, ma'am.
Any kind of dementia, do they all have the tunnel vision?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. It depends on what stage they are. Towards the end stage, you can't hear me?
What was the question?
Oh, ma'am.
Just repeat the question.
Oh, I was going to have her speak into my phone. Okay. This is why Todd's here. She was asking if all forms of dementia have that tunnel vision. Towards the end, almost all of them do. If you have someone who has an injury in the eye part of their brain, that lack of vision will come earlier. And even just from a human point of view, it's nicer to talk in front of someone and make eye contact with them kind of talking them from the side anyway. Man, that's a very good question. Oh, good, another one. Yes, ma'am.
How long you been a nurse?
It's almost 7 years.
If I'm ever in high school, I hope you're my nurse.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Wow.
That just means she has to move to St. Louis. Sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
My mother, she's 77. And it seems like she's getting she had knee surgery. And after she had surgery, something off
Anesthesia.
for a couple of months. Now, she's hurt so bad, they just at the doctor right now. Because they're thinking they're going to have to do hip surgery. And
Poor
I'm
lady.
just like, oh, man, what is this going to be? So, no. It's a little distant already.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a really good example. In the elderly, when you have a major catastrophe, a catastrophe being a fall, a broken arm, broken leg, hip surgery, it's really big. We don't know why. We don't know if it's a combination of the anesthesia, maybe partly because they're out of their routine, they're in the hospital, it could be pain, but something happens. And I'm so sorry, ma'am. A large percentage of people in the elderly population, when they go through that, they don't come back with all of the faculties in their brain. CPR, if I've got the chance, let me just explain this. CPR is not like what you see on television. Makes a great drama, but it just doesn't happen. When you're doing CPR on someone and they're frail, there's a very high chance you're going to break a rib or even the sternum. And even when you're doing CPR, they're not getting all the oxygen to their brain that they should. There's a very low percentage of people in the elderly population that have CPR that actually come back to life and come back with all their faculties. It just rarely happens. Yes, ma'am.
On your brain.
Yeah, oh, do you want me to get the brain?
I like her brain. I have a dementia, but he's a real wanderer. Where does he?
Oh, the wanderer. Oh, that's such a good question. The wanderer. The wanderer is trying to orientate themselves. Oh, okay. His brain is so heavy he can't hold it up. The wanderer is trying to orientate themselves. We talked about the shadows and trying to find something that you can find. When they actually leave their room, it's because they have searched their entire room and they cannot figure where they are. And they will wander until someone stops them, because probably at that point they can't find something that they're going to recognize. Wandering is so scary for the family members, and for the caregiver, they're never going to sleep.
So that's the bottom?
Pardon me?
The bottom part of the brain?
Huh. I think it might be a combination. I suspect part of it is the frontal lobe because it's the memory part. Part of it would actually be the eyes too, because they're trying to recognize it. Good
I
question.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, man,
I
you
was
didn't
just
interrupt me.
curious where-
No, you didn't interrupt me, and I'm going to learn that for the next time. Thank you. Someone else have a question? Yes, ma'am.
So is that why sometimes, we refer to them as shoppers? They're always going through things and they're in other people's rooms and they're always seeming like they're looking for something, so that kind of makes sense that they are absolutely trying to orientate themselves and that's why they're shopping.
Or garage sailing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now Todd says I'm down to 10 minutes. Okay, thank you, Todd. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
With the wanderer shoppers, I've had a resident that
Can you hear?
I had a resident that we used to call a wanderer, and what we found effective was to get her involved in activities and put her on a regular schedule, and that helped stop her wandering. She always had something to do. She had something to keep her busy, just something to strictly focus on. It helped a lot.
That's perfect. That's long-term memory. In our frontal lobe, thank you, that is a really, really good example. Short-term memory, what I had for breakfast, when I went to bed last night, they're not going to remember that. The long-term memories that was stored back when they were in kids, maybe when they got married, those are crystal clear. For being productive, folding napkins, shuffling paper. I had one lady who was grading everybody at the nurse's station. Long-term memory is really important, and it helps them feel like they're still productive. And if you approach someone with dementia, always approach on their dominant side. Because the very last memory that they're going to lose on muscle-wise is in their right arm, which takes the least amount of effort on their dominant side. Yes, Candy. Oh, Cookie.
My best friend's name is Candy.
Are you Candy?
No.
Okay. Cookie.
My grandmother was diagnosed with talking about it. It helped me get a better understanding on whether I could potentially try to help her.
Do better and help my family understand it better so they will work with her.
Can we? It's hard to share personal things like that.
I've got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
My dad
Sorry.
had dementia, and for you to like be feeding the dog or whatever, which wasn't there, okay?
I don't know what his disease process was, but hallucinations is very much a part of dementia.
I mean,
Yeah.
just,
Sorry about that. No, it was your daddy. Okay, I know that 5. Oh, Todd's going, wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you for letting me talk to you about something I think is really important. Thank you for smiling at me and laughing. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm available afterwards if you want to ask me any questions. I would love to continue to talk to you, and it has been my honor to be here.